Hey, everybody, and welcome to We Watch TV. This is the podcast about the TV that we watch. I am Daniel. She is Hope. This is episode 129, take 2, because I screwed up the microphone the first time, and we got like 3 minutes into recording this before I realized that it was recording on the really terrible, excuse my language, shitty microphone on the laptop and not the good microphone that I spent all this time honing in so that we can get this great audio for all of our listeners. So we're going to have to try and do our best to completely redo what we just did, which we will fail miserably at doing.
No, I'm taken out of it. Motivation gone. But isn't that what January is?
I did start by ripping on January, and
Yeah.
I'm going to continue to rip on January.
It's cold.
January sucks. January is cold. January is awful. I hate January. February is like not much better, but at least it's short.
And then I feel what do you think about March?
March is one of those months where it's like
It can be still snow around here in March.
yeah,
and
it
just
can be
as
snow,
crappy.
but it can also be like summer occasionally.
You
It's
can
just
have all the seasons in one
can
day.
happen in March here in West by God, Virginia. It truly is a blessing.
Anyway, January is annoying, but thankfully we have some good TV to get us through, and we are going to talk about, as a tradition on this podcast. How many years have we been doing this podcast at this point?
Who knows? It's unknowable.
Like, I don't even know. Did we say this was episode number 129?
129, yeah. This episode will be posted a couple days short of our 3-year anniversary, I believe, because our first episode went up late January 2023.
Okay.
I think.
We don't know.
You know, I have the wonders of modern technology in front of me. I could probably just say it, but
Butterfly in the sky.
it's really who knows. So this episode of our podcast is entitled What We're Looking Forward to in 2026. And so if you showed up for that conversation is going to happen in a moment. But before we get to that, January 30th, 2023 was our first episode. So we will be a 3-year anniversary here in a couple days.
Well, it has become a tradition when we start getting release dates to talk about the shows that we're looking forward to each year. And we will be getting into that, but one of the shows that I was looking forward to in 2026 has already dropped.
Yep.
I've already talked about Tell Me Lies on Take 1, so I don't remember what I said, and I don't think I can recreate that magic. I'm just gonna be irritated the whole time that I have to redo
so
this.
when I discovered that the sound was off, you had told me to give the spoiler warning. So here goes. This is a good place to do it. Hey, listen, this is a spoiler. If you're new and this is your very first episode, first of all, welcome. Thank you for joining us. Please let me know how you found us.
Thank you for being a friend.
This is primarily a spoiler podcast, which means the shows that we are talking about, we are going to spoil, unless we haven't seen them, which is a majority of this episode because we're talking about things in the future. But for the next couple minutes, we're not talking about the future. We're talking about the present and the past, and we will be talking about shows we've already seen, and we will be spoiling those shows. So if you want to take a look at the chapter markers to see what we're about to talk about, and it's a show that you haven't seen and you want to see it, and you are interested in watching it, but you don't want to be spoiled, then skip to the next section. Otherwise, Tell Me Lies, Season 3. What, the first 3 episodes?
Yes. And he takes a lot of time to put in those chapter markers to take advantage of them. I'm just pumping you up.
I mean, I've gotten better at it. I've started like taking notes during the shows to be like, okay, I'm around this time to kick over. So it's all right.
It's fine.
Don't martyr me over chapter markers,
fine.
please.
Okay, so Tell Me Lies. This was suggested, a show that I watch by several of you lovely listeners. I'm sorry again that it took me so long to get into it, but Tell Me Lies dropped the first 3 episodes of season 3 on, I don't know what day was that. It was last Tuesday, the 13th, January 13th. And then we're back into the horrible weekly release format, which nobody likes. But they were like, we're going to give you 3 episodes. And we were well fed with those 3 episodes. So if you want to know what I thought about Tell Me Lies, the first 2 seasons, I didn't talk about it in depth, but I did talk about it a little bit last in our previous episode. I love this show, but I'll say this, and it's fitting for January. So just as Shane and Ilya from Heated Rivalry made us all believe in love again, enter Tell Me Lies to blow it all up. Because Stephen DeMarco is the ultimate villain. You know what makes him a better villain than like Joffrey, like Ramsay Bolton? You know what makes him a better villain?
What's that?
Because there are Stephen DeMarcos that walk amongst us in the real world that can treat women this way, and even more than just women, like their friends, manipulative sociopaths that get by with everything. And if he doesn't get his, like, what is the word I'm looking for? I can never say the word. Comeuppance in the end. I'm gonna be mad. Now I've done some research, and it's not clear to me if we're getting a season 4 or not. They haven't really come right out and said season 3 is going to be the last. If I'm left on a huge cliffhanger, I'm going to be very upset. If this show could go on into multiple seasons, this could make an argument for my best thing going because it checks all my boxes. Daniel has agreed to watch this if I watch some Star Trek show.
No, some Star Trek show. There's a lot of Star Trek fans that would say Star Trek Deep Space Nine is their favorite. And again, we discussed on another episode, I have not seen the full run of Deep Space Nine, so it would actually be a first time for me on a lot of the episodes.
Well, you have a lot of catching up to do. You did pop in and out for a couple episodes of Tell Me Lies, but I pretty much
as is tradition, every time I showed up, people were doing it on screen.
Oh my gosh, no, they weren't. When I am locked into a show,
I can't keep up.
I am locked into it. Like, I am ready to go. And I don't know. I know you guys that have been watching, you waited so much longer than I did. I've watched, I think this like right before Thanksgiving, I want to say. I finished it. So I haven't even had to wait that long, but it feels like an eternity. So Tell Me Lies. Again, it's following Lucy and her friend group, her evil, on and off, horrible boyfriend, master manipulator, Stephen DeMarco, their tumultuous relationship. We have, again, we're now in 2015 with the present, I guess, scene. It's not really the present, but it's 2015. That's centering around Bree and Evan's wedding. They're part of their college little friend group. And again, we have the wedding scene, and then we flip back into the college scenes as the format of the show. So on season 2, we were left with Bree receiving a phone call. And she receives the call of the message that Steven saved for years. As you know, this level of petty, like, I'm almost like impressed by the darkness and the craziness in him that he would keep this message for like 8 years and always transfer it to a new phone. So he gets the message, and Bree finds out in the message that Evan and Lucy hooked up way in their freshman year, that she knew that Evan had cheated on her. That is the girl. And we've been wondering who has been calling Bree before this wedding. They're saying it's not Steven. This was a whole other thing. So we pick kind of right up off of that, and you have Lucy coming behind. I think she's like the maid of honor, like, are you ready? And Bree turns around and is like, I'm the worst person ever. I'm the worst person you've ever met. I'm such a bad person. And we're like, so does she already know? Has she known all this time and just doesn't care? We haven't caught up with that in the college. Did Lucy at some point tell her? Has she known? What else is going on? Because Bree also had an affair with a Lucifer, from the show Lucifer, a 45-year-old professor in the early years. We also find out her brother enters, her like foster brother, not like biological brother, enters the game in season 3. And there is something weird going on with that. Weird. And he's hot, but I'm like, I don't trust him. Because there's some weird vibes going on. And she's like having repressed memories and stuff. So I don't think that it even necessarily has so much to do with the whole Steven and Lucy. I think it might have something to do with that and the professor. We also have another player. This professor is clearly screwing all the students because he's hooking up with another freshman girl. So we have all this stuff going on, but then it cuts to let's walk down the aisle. So we don't know why Bree is such a terrible person. So I guess we're going to find that out. And the look she gives Steven just makes me want to stand up and applaud Bree, because you can see Steven thinking like, oh, I've won this wedding. They're not going to go through this wedding. And she stands up there. They're playing Florence, Addicted to Love. Great cover. And she says, I do, to Evan. So we know they are married. Do I think Bree loves Evan? No. But I think she sees him as her security to have a real family because she had foster care. Now, all the way back in time, we're going way back in time, of the tumultuousness of Steven and Lucy, we find out that, Steven obviously, he and Lucy are happy for like 5 minutes, but it's all fake. He's just trying to once again lure this information that he has over her to control her. And at one point, like, he finally says, hey, Evan told me that, you guys hooked up. And she's like, well, and she did what I would have done. She's like, well, you left me stranded in a coconut bra at a party and hooked back up with Diana. I don't know why she doesn't throw this in his face more often. But manipulative men like Steven, they can control everything you do. So at one point, he's like, okay, well, I'm going to tell Bree. And Lucy's like, you can't tell Bree. It would break her heart. We would never be friends. He's like, well, you're going to have to choose then. Is it me or Bree? And Lucy does choose Bree. And I think that's what really makes Steven mad, to know that he would choose, or that she would choose her friend over him, because and then he's basically like, I want you to pay for what you did. I want you to be punished. So then he makes Lucy admit this whole thing on a video, which goes back to another storyline of one of their roommates, Pippa, was assaulted by Lucy's...
Her name is Pippa?
Yes.
Okay.
By Lucy's high school friend's brother. And to protect Pippa, Lucy did something that probably wasn't the best and said, it is true. He assaulted me. So she made it up. That was a bad thing to do, because women lie all the time about that. But I understand why Lucy did that. Her heart was in the right place because she was trying to protect her friend. And I just don't think, I think this is why I can sympathize with Lucy, is that I think sometimes she makes a lot of choices that aren't the best, but I see why she makes them. Some of the choices that she makes. She does it because she thinks she's doing the right thing. So she Evan, I don't know why I'm calling him Evan. Steven, because the other guy's Evan. Steven's like, okay, well, tell me something horrible that you did. And she's like, and she tells Steven that she lied about that whole thing. And he like records her and makes her say it, and then makes her like use terrible language. It's a really horrible scene. And he's like, well, I'm going to keep this. If you don't do this, I'm going to tell Bree. And at this point, if I'm Lucy, I would have been like, I'm just telling Bree. So I don't know what's going on and what. And I think some of it's in Lucy's psyche, that she truly thinks she's a really bad person. So we've got all these factors coming in. I didn't think Steven could get any worse than he did. And for those of you that are just listening to me talk about Tell Me Lies, if you're like, well, this show sounds diabolical and crazy, it's because it is.
Okay, let me ask you
Okay, go on.
Very important question.
Yes.
Is it Steven with a V or a PH?
PH.
Okay. I just needed that clarification in my mind.
Steven DeMarco.
Okay.
He's horrible.
Steven.
And so the fact that he did that, though, and in the but the 2015 scenes of the last season, Steven and Lucy did choose to hook up with Steven, who, by the way, is engaged to Lydia, said awful friend of the brother that did the horrible thing, whatever. Like, I'm like, okay, does she still hate herself? Why would she hook up with him after he did? Like, I didn't think they could make this man get any worse. So I'm looking forward to it. Let's see some other stuff from that, highlights that I have kind of in my brain to talk about. Bree and Wrigley. Wrigley is another character. He's probably the least problematic character. His brother died of a drug overdose.
The field?
No.
The gum?
It's his last name. I think of Wrigley Gum too.
Okay.
Why are you like this?
I don't know. I have no idea. I'm trying to contribute to a conversation in which I have nothing to contribute.
Anyway, those two finally had some scenes together, and they had some good chemistry. Wrigley dates Pippa, but Pippa is cheating on Wrigley with Diana. You did see those scenes with Pippa and Diana hooking up.
I told you Diana I was only in here when Steven. People were doing it.
Oh, and Diana's pregnant with Steven's baby, we presume. These are the days of our lives. So go watch Tell Me Lies. All right. Now, another Lucy, possibly less toxic, a little bit more naive, shows up in another show we've been watching, Fallout Season 2. We just watched episode 5. I think this is probably the best episode of the season so far, which makes sense because are we at the midpoint for Fallout?
This was kind of the midpoint. I think there's 8 episodes, so we're on the backside at this point. Yeah, I know.
You can watch Fallout on Amazon Prime. This was a really good episode. A lot of it was Lucy and the ghoul together. They're in Vegas. They're trying to track down her dad. We got some pretty good revelations in this episode. We now know what's the guy's name?
Mr. House.
Mr. House.
Robert House.
Is actually Justin Theroux.
Yeah.
And he's basically throwing out some other guy to pretend to be him for like...
And this is all in the flashbacks we're seeing.
Yes.
Because we don't know... We, as in the viewers of the television show, don't know exactly what's happened to those people in the future. People who have played the video games have a little bit more of an idea of how that story played out. But yeah, so those are all flashbacks between what's his name? What's the ghoul's name? And Cooper Howard.
Cooper Howard.
And he's suspect of his wife. So he goes with her to Las Vegas for a thing where he confronts.
Well, he's working with the woman from In Just Like That.
Yeah, the woman Moldaver.
Yeah.
And she's actually wanting him to kill Robert House, but he's conflicted about doing it just because that's not the kind of person he wants to be. And I think it's also interesting. Those flashbacks are kind of mirroring the journey Lucy's going on right now, where she's kind of struggling with how she was raised and the realities of the wasteland. Yes. And like how you have like the way things you have to do out there in order to survive. So it's an interesting, but he meets Robert House, and
we were all like, who is this mysterious guy that Justin Theroux is? We know the one guy was the Robert House.
Why does he look so much like Robert House?
And now we have basically they pulled what is it? The Phantom Menace with Padme and Keira Knightley. Keira Knightley would go out.
Yeah. Yep.
Well, yeah, right?
Yes, that's correct.
That is correct, yes. It is crazy how those two do look alike, too.
Especially in all the makeup that they had them in, like with the Padme makeup.
Yeah. And Keira Knightley would have been pretty young, too. Like, she would have been, because she's younger than Natalie.
Yeah, Keira Knightley's my age. So she would have been in 99. I was like,
don't give away your age.
Gosh. A baby.
So, yeah, it's basically that situation, though.
Yeah.
Like, somebody that would else, like, not probably for the same reasons. But he's having a lot of flashbacks because I think I would like to think that he has come to somewhat get some, because he's clearly been hardened as he's become the ghoul.
Sure.
But I think he's somewhat grown to care for Lucy. Maybe that's just me. Again, I do ship them, but I know that's not going to happen. But I felt like he ultimately felt bad for when he kind of had to betray her there in that episode. Like, there was a look of, like, sadness. Do you think that?
So here's the thing, though. The problem
I think he has feelings. Not romantic, but feelings.
Sure. I agree with you that I think he's grown to not hate Lucy. But at the same time, you got to remember the other side of the deal that was being made. It wasn't trade Lucy and get your wife and child. It was trade Lucy and go away, and I'm not going to do anything negative to your wife and child. So it's not like he's trading Lucy to get.
Oh, I thought they were going to like he was still going to get to go see them. He just knows where they are now.
He knows that they're alive in the pods.
So that definitely makes sense why he was upset.
But he's not. But he's been told, "You give me Lucy, I will guarantee that they aren't fine, or they are they fine and they stay fine." But that's not a deal where he's going to get to go see them. So.
And the pods are what the people, like what Lucy's dad did, they basically, like, I guess, freeze them until they can be, like, come out of the pod and into the future and all that crap. We as viewers, they flash to the names of his wife and his daughter. So
we know Hank's
it
not
wasn't
lying,
him seeing, so that they made sure, they Vecna-1'd it there to make sure, as a phrase we use on here, to make sure that we knew that was happening. But our little Lucy is learning some tricks from the ghoul.
Yeah.
And she went in to do what he said, to go in to get, because she is kind of addicted to the drugs they used to help save her.
Right.
And he told her to go in the store, and she basically stole this. I don't know. It probably has something to do with a video game, some piece of, like, equipment.
Well, she stole the drugs she was supposed to get because the money was too much. But she also stole a power, like, puncher glove.
Which I assume is in the game.
Yeah, it is.
And just as he's about to screw her over, and he's like, it had to be this way. I had no, like, I don't even know if he said I had no choice. But it was very, like, you could see her being like, I thought we were becoming friends. Like, I trusted you. But then she ends up kind of screwing up the whole thing for him because she takes that little tool that she bought. And I don't think she kills him, but she shoots him out the window.
I mean,
he can't die, because he's the ghoul.
He is impaled on a very large, like, stick. I don't think they're killing off the ghoul.
If they do, I'll be mad. I don't think they are either.
Certainly they're not doing it mid-season.
He can, like, regenerate, right?
He's shown, like, he's lost limbs and stuff, so I would be very surprised if they killed the ghoul. Especially considering Cooper Howard is their tool for telling the backstory. So they kind of need him to be around in order to continue that.
And I'm still confused about these giant, like, dinosaur, like, velociraptor lizard monsters. That he clearly is scared to death about, and Robert House knows something about. But The house guy said something very interesting. He was basically like, again, when he and Cooper have that conversation in the past, he pointed something out about Cooper's wife again.
Yeah.
Like, do you think his wife is a villain, or do you think she's doing that comply or die thing?
I mean, she's
company?
a villain, but I think she is the villain? No, I do not.
Okay.
I think there's something else going on in the background that will get revealed to us as the show goes along.
And we didn't have any of Maximus's storyline,
No Maximus.
which was fine.
We got a little bit of her brother.
A little bit of her brother. The jig's up, though. They kind of know who he is. But we also learned some very important information. Once again, one of the greatest dates of all time. What is April 14th? Let's see. My birthday is April 14th.
Your day, yeah. So
so is Cooper Howard's daughter.
Yeah, and so then the April 14th, 2065 is the day the world ends. Okay.
I guess. Yeah.
Great.
And then he's like, "That's my daughter's birthday or something."
Hey, you'll be 80. I love the pause.
I'm quitting this podcast. I was all excited when they were like, the day the world's going to end. And I was like, oh, that's my birthday.
What a look I just got, folks. I'm sorry.
Why do you think they chose it? Because it was his daughter's birthday? Because it seemed like his wife was like, we should do it this day, right?
I have no idea.
Anyway, rude, Daniel. That was a really good episode, Fallout.
It was very good. The season in general has been great.
I'll tell you this. I'm going to be irritated if I don't get a scene at the end with the ghoul and their reaction to him as the ghoul. They can even sizzle me for the end of that. I'm going to be mad if we go a whole other season and we don't get his wife and daughter out of those pods.
Right. Yeah. I
don't want that to be dragged out.
I think they will pay that off because I don't think they bring that up without that being kind of the thing that's driving the season forward.
Oh, and like the weird doctor that reminds me of like the guy from Pete's Dragon showed back up.
Yeah.
And now he is working with Lucy's dad because he has that like, it's not a tracker, like a personality shifter.
Hank put a controller. Hank has all season been working on perfecting this technology to be able to control minds. And it seems like he's got it working.
Well, that guy takes the same stuff that the ghoul takes, right, to stay alive. So I wonder if there's a connection there.
Yeah.
Anyway, also to keep up with the, depressing theme of Tell Me Lies, Fallout, January, and when you've exhausted all the TV options, and I just didn't have it in me to watch another Star Trek, we finally decided, let's watch another depressing medical drama called
Pitt. I fell in the pit. You fell in the pit. We all fell in the pit.
And that's all we think about every time we see the words the pits. I have never watched the show ER. I don't think I will, based on the TikTok edits that I've seen. I don't have room in my life.
You spoiled the whole thing for yourself.
I really did. I just ruined it.
Day or so.
Because now, once I got caught up with the Pit, I went all in on social media. So, if you haven't watched the Pit, I do recommend it. I liked it a lot. I thought I was just going to watch it and be like, okay. And then Daniel's like, you are locked in on this.
Just to be clear, in this episode, we are going to talk about season 1 of The Pit. We have watched the season 2 so far, but it's only 2 episodes, so that we'll start talking about that as we go throughout the year.
We might bring it up.
It's 15 episodes,
yes,
by the way.
Well fed.
Amazing, but that does mean that it's going to go on for quite a while. So you will have us until April talking about the Pit.
And I think the finale not on April 14th, but right after it wraps up with the Pit.
You won't be 80 yet, but.
Oh. So the Pit, called the Pit. The guy, Noah Wiley, he actually, I think, just won the Golden Globe for this show. Most people know him from his role on ER. He decided I guess he's really good at playing a doctor on TV. And he created the show. I don't know if he created it. I think he pitched the idea from what I read. And it takes place in Pittsburgh. And they call the ER the Pit. I love it that it takes place in Pittsburgh, and they have done their homework, baby. They've done their homework. So season 1, at first, one of the reasons why I was like, I don't think I'm going to like this show is because it takes place, each season is a day's work. So like each episode, like we have the episode 1, it was the hour of 7 to 8 a.m. in the ER, as they lovingly refer to it in the Pit. Love the B-roll footage of Pittsburgh. What about you?
Yeah, it's good to see that.
I like seeing like where I've been.
It's not just so. Just take it a step further. It's not just because you and I have familiarity with Pittsburgh as a city, but it's also just because it's nice to see other things besides New York, Chicago, LA.
Yeah, I feel like New York, Chicago, LA, those are always the
Yeah.
the main kind of shows where a lot of stuff, except for, Seattle.
It's
Seattle
but I
Grace.
mean, it's nice to see. Pittsburgh is not a city you think about in TV.
Yeah, you
land.
really don't.
Like there are other cities besides New York, Chicago, LA that get some highlights, but but it's nice to see a Midwest Appalachian city get.
I think the last thing that
some
I
highlight.
watched that took place, I don't know what the movie was called. It
Oh
had
my
the
God.
guy from Twilight in it,
Lautner.
Jacob, and Emily in Paris.
Yeah.
She was in it, and there's a whole scene they filmed. Like I think he was people murdered his parents or abducted him or something, and he was raised as people, and he's trying to figure, was it called abduction? I don't know what the
Maybe
movie was.
something like that. I can't remember. I know
It was
what
a
you're talking
bad
about, yeah.
movie.
The only reason we went to it is because you saw PNC Park in the trailer, and you were like, "We're going to see."
Well,
that
they have
movie.
a whole scene that takes place at PNC Park, and we went and watched it. Well, I remember seeing one of the reasons why that movie sticks out to me, besides PNC Park, was that was my last day at one of my previous jobs. So we cleaned out my office and my desk area, and then we went to go see that movie that night.
Oh well, yeah.
Right?
About that.
And that's too bad I can't remember the name of it, but yeah. So that's the last thing I remember. I know they filmed. I think they filmed whatever movie with Batman and Bane. They filmed one of those
Dark Knight
scenes
Rises,
at Heinz
They
Field.
had the Heinz Field was featured in that movie for that scene, and some of their B-roll shots of cityscapes was from Pittsburgh. But
in terms of a show being set in Pittsburgh, there's at least if there's any else out there, let me know. I would like to tune in and watch it. So yeah, let us know. So I didn't think I would like the format at all. I told Daniel, I was like, and he's like, well, you seem awfully locked in for somebody who doesn't like the format. I'm like, oh no.
You were
Locked
3
in.
or 4 episodes in being like, I'm not sure I like this format anymore. And I'm like, really? Because you've been watching this. You watched Tell Me Lies or The Vampire Diaries or stuff like that. Locked in.
It's somehow they managed. I can see why it's winning the Emmys. I can see why Noah Wyle won the Emmy. I can see why he won the Golden Globe. I see why it's doing well awards-wise. One of my things I was like, well, what if I don't get the character development I want because I'm not going to see these people over the course of a season?
Right.
Somehow they make it work. And you do. You learn little by little about our cast of a crew of doctors in the pits. And essentially, Noah Wyle plays Dr. I'm glad they call him Dr. Robbie because I wouldn't be able to pronounce.
Mm-hmm.
It's like Rob Vinovich or something like that.
Yeah.
Plays Dr. Robbie. I was asked this question. I wasn't asked, but someone was like, "Ladies of the World, do you think he is hotter on ER or the Pit?" I'm gonna have to say at the Pit because he looks like a baby. He was 23 years old when ER started.
And you have a specific request of on the Pit.
I like
too.
his beard.
And you like him when he has his glasses on.
I do like it when he has his glasses on. Looks very nice. Very nice. Now, he's not the hottest one on there. The hottest one is Dr. Frank. I can't believe his name is Frank. Frank Langdon. He is the hottest. But all the face cards on this cast.
Wait. Is he the hottest doctor or is he the hottest male doctor?
The hottest male doctor.
Okay.
The other one that reminds me of Izzy Stevens, not in looks, but in personality. I don't even remember her name. I just call her Hot Doctor. She's the one that they call her slow-mo sometimes because she really takes the time to get to know her patients. Her name is Dr. Mohan.
Didn't want to think that we were just objectifying somebody by calling her Hot Doctor or anything.
And Dr. Langdon.
I didn't come up with that nickname, by the way.
Dr. Langdon is the hottest one. Then Dr. Robbie, but she's very pretty. I feel like the face card of most of the cast is great. They all are serving looks for people that are in the ER. So I'm just going to say it. The one day that season 1 is, what's that thing? You don't know what a bad day is.
Yeah.
These people are having a very bad day. I really thought I had struck gold when I saw that it was 15 episodes. I was like, oh, this is going to, and I didn't realize that season 2, only 2 episodes have dropped. Yeah. I didn't realize that I would watch it. I think I watched 1 episode on a Thursday night and we finished it on a Sunday. Yeah. Yep. And I feel like did we finish season 1 on a Sunday?
We
started
finished season 1, 2 episodes on Sunday, and then we got the 2 episodes of season 2 out of the way on Sunday as well.
And
yes.
Now Darkness. They threw everything at these people, but they found a way to make it work with character development.
Mm-hmm.
You have one of the doctors, Dr. McKay. We find out she has an ankle monitor on. Why? You have to wait a little bit, but you later get to learn why. Let's see here. I went from hating Dr. Santos, or resident. She wasn't a doctor yet. She was
Student
Dr. Santos, also affectionately known as
Data's daughter.
Data's daughter from Star Trek Picard. And then I ended up liking her at the end. I still think she can go back and forth. She's kind of like, and yes, I am comparing them to Grey's Anatomy because that's the major medical drama. She's kind of like I feel like you would agree with me, the Christina Yang a little bit. And it just shows me how good Sandra Oh was in that character, that I never hated Christina Yang, because Christina Yang was as arrogant as they come. Would you agree, though? They're very similar. The way they talk to people.
Your word for it. I'm not super familiar. Like, I haven't watched nearly as much Grey's Anatomy as you have.
You liked the first couple seasons when we did a Grey's Anatomy rewatch.
That's fine.
Anyway, I feel like a lot from what I've seen in the fandom, people go back and forth on their favorite characters, but everyone is in agreement that Dr. Melissa Mel Kane is our Shayla. Protect this woman at all costs.
Yes, correct.
She is my favorite. She is a woman who came from the VA hospital.
I want to make it very clear to the writers of this show, who I'm sure are listening.
Yeah.
You're constantly reminding us in the television show of the Hippocratic Oath of do no harm, and I want to put it out to your writers: do no harm to Mel King, to Dr. Mel King.
Do not hurt her feelings. We love her so much. She came from the VA hospital. This is her, I believe, first day. I think it's some people's or other people's second day. I'm not really sure on that.
I'm unclear because we followed the
tradition, yes,
the ancient tradition of Daniel does not watch a majority of the first episode.
And then he walks in and he's
like,
what are you watching?
I walk in, sit down, and catch up.
And you're like, you're watching this? You must be truly desperate. And I'm like...
You're not one... Okay. Neither of us are one to watch medical shows. You have watched
Grey's
a
Anatomy
lot of Grey's Anatomy, and we both do like Scrubs. But both of those shows, I would say, if there's a spectrum of medical shows, are on one side.
They're a little funnier.
Yeah, there's a comedy element, there's an entertainment element, and this is over on the other side where ER
it has made me laugh though.
I'd say ER is in the middle. This is even farther over, I think, than ER when it comes to like trying to be accurate to what they're doing.
I think they've some behind the scenes research I've seen where they say it's like the most accurate. They
that's
studied
what they're trying to be.
And just like Grey's Anatomy, one of the nurses on the show was an actual nurse, Nurse Jessie, who also is hot, by the way. Again, the face cards don't decline, but there is, I don't know if I think she was a nurse or an anesthesiologist. No, not an anesthesiologist. One of the nurses on Grey's Anatomy, I think she's been in like every season, was a nurse in real life. So I thought that was so yeah, that's why you're going to hear me compare it a lot to Grey's Anatomy sometimes. Just because that's my main, like you said, my main familiarity.
Yeah.
I did not watch ER. I don't think I want to, because apparently I already know what happens to Goose in Top Gun. I'm not interested in watching what happens to this man in ER based on what I saw on TikTok. But I do think, I think from what I read that they conceptualized the show originally to be a spinoff of ER, and I think it's good they didn't. Because I think you would have had ER fans being like, where's so-and-so?
I think
this isn't the same.
I think the baggage that would have come with being attached to ER wouldn't have been worth it. And I think what they've been able to do with combining the unique American city that is Pittsburgh along with the new cast and the format that they're taking, it allowed them the freedom to not be slaved to the consequences of the show ER and have new ideas. I think really benefits to it. And I kind of like the one day, this is the day kind of format of it, honestly.
It's I think a gamble to do a show like that, but it's also the way they're doing it well. The writing is good.
Yeah, I think what it does really for me is it highlights, like, because when you think about it, and we'll get to this conversation about the season, how it wrapped up, and some of our criticisms there, but it really highlights just exactly how like incredibly difficult this job working in an
Yes.
ER is, because it never stops, and they put an entire season's worth of a show into 15 hours of it. They basically end up working a 15-hour shift. And
I will say this particular day would be
this particular
top
day
tier
would be
awful,
top
though.
tier awful. Yes, and we'll talk about that here in just a second. But it does, even before we got to that point, because they were only an hour away from shift ending when that part
Yeah.
happened. This was like just it really, I think, did a great job of highlighting the nonstop like chaos of what working in an ER would be
And
like,
it
especially in a
looks-
large metropolitan area.
The
like
waiting
Pittsburgh.
room scenes look more like what stuff looks like around here, and I don't even know. Is it probably Morgantown would be maybe a trauma one? I don't know.
Charleston has one.
Charleston has
Yeah.
one. So like, we're not even like, because this is clearly like a big trauma center in Pittsburgh,
Mhm.
but I'm just saying, like, sometimes you could see like Scrubs and I don't know what the hospital is called on Scrubs, but like Seattle Grace, some like Grey's Anatomy, now called Graceland Memorial or whatever, look more polished, and like the waiting rooms, even like the clinic scenes on Grey's, just have more of a clean look to them.
Right.
These like almost broken chairs in the waiting room,
Mhm.
overcrowded, awful feeling, which I know they're in the ER. You don't necessarily see as much as that on Grey's in particular as often, but it looks real. Everybody in there, they've done a good job of like making it feel like an uncomfortable situation. And I really like how the show highlights all the different jobs. We have nurse practitioner, we have the counselor, therapists, we have the custodial staff,
Yeah, a
we
lot
have
of
the
that stuff
EMT
comes in.
crew, we have security, the charge nurses, the residents, the and I guess the interns, the attendee. Like they're showing it's not just focused on one specific group, which I
Yeah.
really like.
The only criticism I'm casting, I will say, is that I'm in season 2 or maybe season 3. Because we don't know where season 2 is going. I'm going to need to hear an authentic Yenza
I
accent.
think Dana is trying.
She's doing all right, but I'm going to need to hear somebody that sounds like they've been to Giant Eagle before,
Yeah,
and and call somebody a jagoff.
she did.
She said jack off, but
she
it's
said
not
it a
jack
little
off.
wrong.
It's jag off.
But I think she's the one that's supposed to be more of like. But they could easily have a patient roll in there and
Sure.
do that really well. My thing that about season 1 is I hope, and I'm going to compare it to another show, and you guys are going to be like, what? I don't want them. I hope they didn't OC the situation. The OC season 1,
Sure.
they didn't know if they were going to get another season. The creators have since said they would have backed off. One of the reasons why the OC season 1 is so good is because of all the storylines, but they did a lot. And then, like, where do you go from there?
Yeah.
Season 2, each season got progressively worse of the OC.
And that,
I feel like they've given them all the drama in the world on
and
season 1.
And I think that we had this discussion, and that brings us to kind of our main criticism about season 1, which is I felt like at the end of the season, the mass shooting storyline felt really accelerated.
Yes.
I understand why they did it, and I understand like they were.
It just made the
like,
day even worse.
Like they were breaking Robbie and showing you that was part of his character arc for the season.
They already
was
lost
breaking him down.
a child that drowned.
Yeah.
They already lost another man. They lost another
They had
a
that
teenager.
18-year-old, yeah. And so, but it just, to me, it felt like, I don't know. I can't say it didn't feel realistic, because it absolutely felt realistic. We live in America in 2026. These things happen. But it just felt like putting the pedal to the floor in
Yeah.
a way that I would have expected maybe to be like a season 3 kind of situation, maybe. And so I guess my question going into season 2 is
Worse.
what do we do in season 2? And I'm not saying we have to top it, because maybe you
No.
don't. Maybe you do it in another way. But it just felt to me, and again, they did it great.
Yeah.
They did it the way they handled it, and the things that came up during it.
Oh, there were rats.
yeah.
I know that's not as bad as.
It was all amazing. This is a criticism not necessarily of the way they executed it, because I think they executed it extremely well. This is a criticism of, I feel like this was an acceleration in a way that I wasn't expecting to happen in season 1 of a show.
Yeah, I agree. It was quite a bit. But again, I'm not sure they knew they were getting another season, so
Right,
they're like,
yeah.
how can we
And-
make
and
this
it's-
bad day worse? It was already bad enough with like rats running around, like I said, all the other terrible incidences. I think I would have liked to see more focus, and I think we are going to get that with season 2 a little bit, about the hospital. There's tension between Robbie and kind of, I don't know if she's like what Dr. Richard Weber was, like the chief or whatever. That's from the business side of it, from the hospital. I don't think hospitals should be businesses. I think they should be there to help people and heal the sick, but that's not the way the world works. And
that's not the way the world works in the United States of America. In other places, that is how the world works.
So there's that tension aspect of it, which I would like to see seen in season 2 a little bit more. But yeah, it's very good.
It was a very good show.
Very good.
That criticism that I just put out there is the most mild of mild criticisms I could give, because it still was an absolutely almost stunning season of television, to be honest.
And we were very sad.
And I'm not. And again, I don't think I've made it clear enough.
He's very critical too.
I'm not a medical show, medical drama.
We were even watching this while we ate dinner.
There was a couple times I had to just look down at my plate and not look at the show, but I'm not the person who sits down to watch medical dramas. But this was just you turn it on, and within 30 to 40 minutes into the first episode, it's I can't stop watching this.
I do really like all the Pittsburgh references, so let's go through them. First, we see a Steelers shirt right off the bat.
Yeah.
And there was a particular storyline, and I was like, oh, great. It's the guy in the Steelers shirt screwed it up. But then we find out, he's like, okay, so we have this kid that's sick, and they can't figure it out. We found out the kid got into the weed gummies, and he's like, oh, crap. And then we find out, where did he get the weed gummies from, Daniel?
From his cousin, who's from Cleveland. Brother from Cleveland.
From Cleveland. Haha, Cleveland. We get a Pirates mention and Andrew McCutcheon. So we know it's taking place sometime in the spring or the summer. On this lovely, well, not lovely day, more like awful day. But the Pirates were winning when the guy asked what the score was.
The guy was put down
for a heart attack.
He didn't
die. He was one of the ones that lived.
Well, we didn't find out that he died or lived or died, but he got moved over to OR. And that was something that was interesting to me before you go on, is how if a patient moved out of the ER to OR or anything else, that was it. We didn't hear about him anymore because that's how it works down there. Once they're out of your care, it's on to the next.
We had a Crosby reference. That was the dog was named Crosby. Now, it was not after Sidney Crosby. They asked. There's some band or something.
Yeah.
But
Crosby's
we were all like, oh, Crosby. So I just had to put that. And then at one point, I'm like, I'm going to have to see somebody eating Permanis. A couple episodes later, they get Permanis. We had a camping in West Virginia reference at the New River Gorge, because I was waiting for West Virginia to be referenced. A couple of the characters went to Pitt. Yuck. Shady Side, that is a neighborhood in Pittsburgh. And then, of course, Jagoff. And then Pamela's Diner was referenced in season 2. So they really did. I'm probably missing some more stuff, but there's lots of little Pittsburgh-y things sprinkled in, which
there's
I
probably
really
some
liked.
stuff sprinkled in that we didn't even get, because we're familiar with Pittsburgh, but we are certainly we're ways off from Pittsburgh, and we don't get up there that often.
I really like how the B-roll in season 2 shows PNC Park, which was really fun because we spent a lot of good memories at PNC Park.
PNC Park, best ballpark in the major leagues.
Absolutely. But yeah, Pitt, go watch it if you haven't.
Yeah, this is coming from somebody who is not, again, this is my recommendation. This is a great show, and it is, regardless of your thoughts on medical drama, unless you really absolutely just cannot stand the gore. And it comes and it goes in waves. There are plenty of times when it's not much. Then there are times when it is a lot. And
you will get attached to these characters over the course of the day.
Yeah. We have barely even touched on our attachment to the characters, and they did such a great job with that. There wasn't exposition. There wasn't info dumping. That was just little moments here and there where you'd get a piece of information, and then you would take that little nugget.
But what about me with Whitaker, a.k.a. Huckleberry?
You did.
You
sussed that out really, really well.
So. I saw him keep pocketing food. I was like, I bet he's living at the hospital. He's homeless. You have to understand, I have watched medical shows, and I'm not saying they stole ideas off Grey's Anatomy, but I've watched shows where that's happened before, and I feel like it's happened in enough medical dramas that I've watched that I wonder if it's common.
Well, he's a student. he made a comment in season 2 so far that he's just now become a doctor, and he's going to get his first paycheck finally. So those student doctors aren't getting paid.
Yeah.
So, that's a tough road until you finally are able to get that first paycheck. Okay, and so that's the shows we've been watching out of the way, and now it is time for our annual celebration of what are we looking forward to this year of our Lord, 2026. And to start off, unbelievably, I can't believe I'm going to say this, but I am actually looking forward to a show technically has already started. We're probably going to let it stack up a little bit just because we like to watch stuff all at once instead of
Clearly.
week to week. Star Trek, Starfleet Academy on Paramount Plus. It began on January 15th. As I said, there's already 2 episodes out because they dropped the first 2. I was not looking forward to this show at all until you showed up.
Well, know thine audience, and whoever spies on me on TikTok knows me. And I was like, oh, so they're calling it affectionately Star Trek 90210. And that's how I can tell that like old people are only getting on TikTok, because like I'd be like, oh, Star Trek like the OC, Star Trek One Tree Hill. I did watch 90210, but that's more like, a Gen X type show. But I saw kind of an extended preview, and I like the aspect that it's the Academy, and it looks like it could be pretty good. And I'm like, is this show marketed to me? But as you've done your research, it seems like people are kind of coming around to it. Is that correct?
Reddit, a place where curmudgeons hang out, seems to be generally positive on it. So I feel at this point, between you wanting to see it from that aspect and the Star Trek fans I know on Reddit saying it's okay, I'm going to check it out.
All right. Shrinking Season 3 returns on Apple TV January 28th. So we get that to look forward to.
I feel like people sleep on this show. Like,
they do.
The nominations for award season, they get a few, but they don't get as many as I feel like they deserve.
Yeah.
I think Harrison Ford in particular deserved a nomination for season 2. I thought he was spectacular.
Was he nominated?
I don't know, but he didn't win anything. But he was
probably because Noah Wiley won for the Pitt.
Yeah, I thought Harrison Ford was spectacular in season 2. Maybe some of the best acting he's done in a long time.
Yeah. He tends to play kind of the same guy.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I'll say this. When I watched that Captain America movie, I felt like I was watching his character from Shrinking, though. Grumpy, irritable.
Yeah, very similar characters. But, I just... This show gets slept on. I think if you have Apple TV, I think you should watch it.
All right. I think it's you. Your turn.
Is it me? Oh, man. I can't believe this one's for me. Bridgerton, Season 4, Netflix, Part 1 is January 29th. Part 2, February 26th.
Ah, the dreaded split season. Netflix, you have got to stop doing this. You are like Papa. I'm very excited for Bridgerton. I feel like it has been, at least when we had because it's been like, gosh, almost 2 years at this point, if they had made us wait longer. We had Queen Charlotte to satisfy us between seasons 2 and 3, so we have had nothing. They flipped the books order. We got our Pollen season before we got Benedict's season. I think they did that because we had Colin and Penelope around longer. I don't know why they made the choice we did, but this is like the Cinderella season, so to speak, with Sophie and Benedict. I really did enjoy that book. It's not my favorite. My favorite book is still season 2, and then book 4, which was season 3, it's very confusing now, was my second favorite book, but I would probably put this in my 3 slot. I really like Benedict as a character. And because Bridgerton is an ensemble cast, it looks like we're gonna get more continuation of Colin and Penelope's storyline. We had the big whistle down reveal, so the Queen knows about that. I think the show does a really good job for the most part. I do have criticisms with it as a book reader, but the way the books are, it's pretty much each character, and I don't think it would be as exciting if you did a show that way. Do you know what I'm saying? Like,
sure, yeah.
Without seeing the other. So I look
Scarecrow coming back?
What? Oh, Fiyero?
Yeah.
Fiyero. Yes, of course.
Okay.
Very excited. Just not a fan of the weekly release, or not weekly release. I don't like the weekly release either. Not a fan of splitting it into parts. Either give it to me weekly release or give it to me all at once. I guess that's probably my take. All right, it's my turn. We're very good at this. Winter Olympics coming on NBC, mostly Peacock, February 6th.
I'm ready to watch some curling, baby.
I love the Olympics. Summer Olympics are my favorite, but it's always fun. I think some of the crazy stuff they do in I know curling, very exciting, but like some of like the skiing and the way those people like fly, like the ones where they do all the tricks. and like the snowboarding, all that stuff. I'm always just like, how do these people do that? Like, and not like fear for their lives.
By the way, I just want to make one more appeal. Again, I want to put this out into the universe. We need running in the Winter Olympics, and I think cross country would be a perfect winter running event, and they should do that. So, anyways, next up, speaking of medical dramas, I continue to say that I'm not a huge fan of medical dramas, but what about a medical comedy?
Dramedy.
Scrubs. The
Return.
It's not really a reboot.
Continuation.
ABC, February 25th.
Daniel, I'm a little worried, but I'm excited.
Yeah.
So far, the return of shows have not been great.
Yeah. I know. It's been disappointing.
But I'm no Superman. As soon as they roll out the theme song, I'm going to be locked in.
It will be nice. We've said it multiple times. Scrubs is probably like if we had to make a lockdown top 10 list, I think Scrubs is on mine.
Agree. Except for that last season that I don't recognize. Nobody cares about that.
Nobody talks about that. So I am excited, but also worried because you revisit characters and there's always opportunities to screw them up.
Yep.
But I don't know. It'll be nice to see. Everybody seems to be back except for Janitor, which.
I'm sure
if I had to take a guess, I'd say he'll have like a cameo in an episode or something. But yeah, I'm excited for it.
All right, and then Ghosts season 5 returns. CBS actually called it Ghost. I think they called it 2B. Like we were wondering, like what happened to Ghosts. That's the lawn of the break. That Ghost comes back February 26th.
Oh, okay.
So the last we had finally got caught up and watched the Christmas episode. After Christmas, and then because Daniel can't work the library on YouTube TV, we realized we had missed an episode before the Christmas episode, so we went back and watched that. Ghost is always good. It's
that
good.
Wasn't the whole story. I actually started us on because Christmas episode was a part
I wasn't going to drag you that much. You want to drag yourself?
Christmas episode was a part 1, part 2, and I started us on part 2. So.
And I'm like, Daniel, what are you doing?
I don't know. Ted, season 2, Peacock. March 5th. I'm excited to have Ted back. I enjoyed Ted season 1. I thought it was funny. I will freely admit this. Like I like Seth MacFarlane's comedy. I know that Family Guy got old and people lost interest, but I just think the referentials that Seth MacFarlane pulls out are very specific to things that are very important to him. And let me say, Seth MacFarlane also likes Star Trek, so he tends to be in my lane a little bit when it comes to that kind of stuff. And so I enjoy his comedy, and Ted was great. Season 1 was great, and I can't wait for season 2.
I love how season 1 ended with the Thunder song.
Yeah.
Because that's part of because the show is like a prequel to the movies. And whoever plays, I don't even know what his name is.
Yeah, I don't either.
Why am I blanking?
Wahlberg's
younger self does a really good job of making me think that's a young Mark Wahlberg. Yeah, I don't know. Will we get the whole season though? I think they gave us all of season 1 at once.
Yeah, I don't know because we picked it up like it's a tradition. We picked it up like after it had already been out. So yeah, I don't know if they dropped it all at once or not.
For comedies, I really need.
Yeah.
I can't do the weekly release. All right, next up. The Bachelorette, season 22, ABC, March 22nd. I thought I was lost. I thought I was done with this franchise, and then they gave me Taylor Frankie Paw from The Secret Lives of Mormon Wives as our Bachelorette. And when I tell you, I'm going to be sat. One, I don't think she's going to put up with a lot. And I think she's going to bring mess, drama, everything that I love on a TV show, and you will be tuning in.
If I sit and watch every episode of this that you watch, because you have had a tendency to duck out after the first couple episodes when things start getting dumb. But if I watch every episode you watch, I think that should count towards my how many episodes of Star Trek Deep Space Nine we watch, in addition to Tell Me Lies. Can we make a shake deal on this?
I don't know. I'll have to go consult with my team.
All right. Hey, this next one is actually kind of a big deal. So if you've been with us for a while, you know we have a concept of the best thing going. And we're kind of at a split decision right now. I don't even really remember at this point who's got what in their mind.
I don't remember what I submitted for my best thing going.
But if we remember back to our original conversation, our very first episode, The Boys was our best thing going.
Yes.
That was after season 3. We've had season 4 since then, which we liked season 4. It's not that it was bad, but it just wasn't up to the same quality that we felt like the first 3 seasons were.
The finale rebounded a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit. So The Boys season 5 is coming on Amazon Prime on April 8th. It will be the final season. I'm excited. I feel like they still have an opportunity to nail this, and if they nail this final season, this show is up there.
I'm excited, but I'm also a little worried because I feel like we're going to need, I think from what I've been reading, I don't know if you're into this, that they're going to have even more tie-ins with Gen V, and I'm like, are you going to make me
I'm not doing it.
Watch Gen V?
Wasn't your guy, although
guy.
Gen V season 2, Ariana's guy was in it for a little bit.
Bach.
Yeah, the 10 Man.
Me and Bach.
So, anyways, I'm excited for The Boys season 5.
What is our best thing going right now? Yours is Severance, right?
Yes.
Did I think Hacks for mine? I don't know.
Hacks,
I waffle, guys.
Listen, Carl Urban's great.
Yes.
When Carl Urban is there, I'm there. So I'm always in. I think the supporting cast is good. I think I'm happy they're ending it after season 5 because I think this is what we've been building to. And so I'm excited to see what they have to come.
What they have in store.
How they wrap this up.
I think it could be, we might not get a happy ending, though.
No.
All right. Now, I put this next one on the list, and I've never even seen every episode of the original show, but I'm interested in the reboot. And I feel like if I get bored enough, I could go back and watch it. The Malcolm in the Middle reboot, they were even bringing in Bryan Cranston. And he's blue. Like, I feel like he was pretty famous during Malcolm in the Middle, but, like, Breaking Bad came
Malcolm
after. Like, that's what kind of.
Before Breaking Bad.
By the way, Bryan Cranston is the dad of Dr. Mel Cain.
Protect.
In real life. Protect. But it comes to Hulu, I guess probably Disney Plus 2, April 10th. I kind of want to see it. Like, and I'm like, I wonder if I should just go back and, like, watch Malcolm in the Middle. I think they're getting everybody back but the kid that was in Christmas with the Cranks that played one of the brothers because he doesn't act anymore. Yeah. And I think they're doing what Fuller House should have done. I do believe they are recasting him.
Yeah.
So
I feel like I've seen episodes of Malcolm in the Middle.
I've seen some sprinkled in, some random episodes.
I think it might be worth. Especially if we've got time to kill, because we've got a lot of shows coming up that are weekly release. Yeah. So we're not going to be. I
love me a
lot.
Good sitcom.
Yeah, a good sitcom. You never know. Maybe we'll try that out. All right, so those are all the things we Oh wait, I'm sorry. There's one more. There's one more that we do have a date for.
I was about to say, boy.
I don't watch this one, so that's why I blanked over it. Euphoria season 3 on HBO or HBO Max, the place where you watch the movies on Max. April 12th.
Did we say The Pitt also airs on HBO earlier? I don't think we did.
I don't think we did. It's on HBO.
I'm very excited for Euphoria, very apprehensive because of all the drama. I never thought it was going to happen. We were all like, is season 3 ever going to happen? There's been so much like off-camera drama. A lot of the cast, like Zendaya, Jacob Elordi, Sydney Sweeney, have since their careers have blown up. I feel like
the Frankenstein guy.
Yes.
Oh.
Who's also in those kissing booth movies that you used to make
fun of me for watching on Netflix. I still wanted to watch the
Frankenstein
movie. I haven't gotten around to that.
I still want to as well. Nate Jacobs is a pretty terrible character, but Stephen DeMarco makes Nate Jacobs look like an angel. They've obviously, the first 2 seasons of Euphoria take place in high school. This is going to be after high school. I'll be locked in. I'm looking forward to it, but I'm also kind of apprehensive. Like, did we even need to make this? Should we? Because they could have ended it on season 2. Almost every like TikTok or like vocal stem, like, is this play about us? Like, a lot of that stuff comes from Euphoria. You do realize that?
Yeah, I know. I'm familiar. I've seen a couple episodes of that. That show is too much for me in a whole different level. Like that, every time I sit down on a show, I feel like there's flashing lights coming at me, and it's like, what's happening? It's
a lot, but I'm excited. So we do have some shows coming back. They just don't have their dates yet. Supposedly, The Secret Lives of Mormon Wives next season is going to be dropping in the winter at some point. I'm skeptical on that, as we're somehow sort of through January and I don't have a date yet. Summer dates to be announced. X-Men 97 season 2. Disney
I'm excited
Plus.
for that one. X-Men 97 was great.
I feel like we have waited forever. I would love it if are they. You know what's? Oh my gosh, this is a whole other thing. Avengers, what's it called? Doomsday.
Yeah.
I was like, even when they brought Steve Rogers back, I was like, okay. You know what got me locked into the mess that's going to be this movie?
Mm-hmm.
Seeing Magneto and Professor X
Yeah.
because at the end of the day, Daniel, and then like Cyclops in his actual outfit, like I'm an X-Men girly.
I'm right there with. I am too. I am also an X-Men girly. Like
Boy.
but like my introduction to Marvel was X-Men. It was that 90s X-Men cartoon, and then the movies and the
movies
that
were kind of
came
my
out, too.
thing.
Was not I was not a comic book person. It was the X-Men all the way for me. So I agree with you. Like of all the things that excite me about the Doomsday stuff, it's the X-Men. That movie is going to be an absolute train wreck mess.
There's so many good ships of X-Men, but you know the superior ship is Professor X and Magneto, right?
Of course, yeah. That's the only one that matters.
Were they lovers?
Worse.
All right, so we have some other shows that I will quickly go through that are expected to return in 2026 but not confirmed. Would you like to say them?
We've got Emily in Paris.
Yeah.
The Outer Banks.
Yep.
Perfect Match. What is that?
It's that one that has all the different people from the different reality shows
Pass.
put in one for, like to date and find their perfect match.
My Life with the Walter Boys.
You asked. Yep.
The Four Seasons. What is that? Why do I
That's
remember
the one
that?
with Steve Carell, Tina Fey,
okay.
Colton Domingo. We like that one.
Yeah. Okay. The Hunting Wives.
John Stamos has joined on in the cast. Did you see that?
If you could be more excited. I'm sorry. I need to take my glasses off here and make sure. The Little House on the Prairie reboot.
Yes, I read the Little.
What are we
House,
doing here, folks?
I read the Little House on the Prairie books. I watched the show Little House on the Prairie, and I fully intend to support Little House on the Prairie.
All right, now
There's been some criticisms about Little House on the Prairie coming to. They're like, "Oh, is Netflix going to make it woke?" Guys, Little House on the Prairie was always quote unquote, which I hate the word woke.
Yeah, that's so dumb.
They were always ahead of their time. So you leave Little House on the Prairie alone, Daniel.
Can I ask you a question?
I used to read those books on the way to WVU games.
Everybody, in case you are lost, this is an inside baseball question. This is a husband and wife who know each other far too well question. Are they going to be able to find a dad that's as hot as the original?
I don't think so. Michael Landon was fine. It was always weird because when I read the books, that's not how he's described. And then I started, obviously the show came out like before I read the books, but like after I read the books, I would watch the show because Mom would watch the show. And we were always like, okay. And I remember my mom being like, oh, they really cast somebody that's way hotter than Paul. I used to read the books not only on my way to WVU games, I used to read them during the WVU games. Those were one of the book series that I read. I loved. I'm trying to think of like who they put John Stamos in that show too. I don't know.
All right, next up, Star Trek: Strange New Worlds. This would be season 4. Yeah, season 4. We think we're going to get this year, but we really haven't heard anything because they've wrapped. I believe they've wrapped filming on season 5 as well. So I don't think there's any reason we shouldn't get that this year. But
we better.
We better. Yeah. There's no reason we shouldn't.
I don't think it's going to be in this. I think at this point with no date, best we can hope for is late summer, fall.
Yeah, probably. You're probably.
But then
right.
again, sometimes like they roll out a date and they're like, never mind, you'll get it in May. So
Yeah.
who's to say?
I Love L.A.
Yep. We think that we're going to get it this year. And then The Bear. Have they filmed The Bear?
I have heard nothing.
They're saying they're expected to return. The reason why we got The Bear so quickly before is because they filmed all at once.
Yeah.
I'm of the belief they didn't. I think The Bear used to be also in the title of Best Thing Going.
Yeah.
For both of us, I'm of the belief they didn't need to make another season. I would have been satisfied.
I agree. I would have been satisfied with what I got out of
and
season
I think
4.
it's going to be at the expense of character development.
Mm-hmm.
Will I watch it? Yes.
Of course.
Talk about another cast that's blown up.
I will be shocked if the season comes out this year. I think that.
You agree, though? Another cast that's absolutely blown up.
Yeah. Well, that's what I was about to say. That
Yeah.
cast has blown up in a way that scheduling is going to become a real nightmare. So unless they've already got some sort of contractual,
And like 3 of their main leads have been doing so many projects.
things in the work, I just don't know. That's the end of our list. I have one question for you.
I do have one more thing that's not on the list. Can I say that
let's
first?
See if let's beam to each other here for a second.
Okay.
I'm looking right at you. Now say it.
Heated rivalry.
No, that wasn't what I was thinking.
Heated Rivalry is confirmed to get a second season, and they should be filming this summer. But I don't think if they're filming this summer, I'm guessing the best we could hope for would be for another December release. But my guess is they would push that into 2027.
Yeah. Although I will,
thinking of?
again, I saw multiple interviews where they talked about like how quickly they are able to film that show and put it together. So you never know. Maybe maybe they drop it at the end of the year. I thought we were getting another season of Ted Lasso this year.
I think they have been filming it. It was not mentioned on my list.
Okay.
So I'm not quite sure.
They haven't said anything about it, but I know they've been filming. So
You know how the pacing of the stuff takes.
I know. When I see filming taking place, in midsummer of a year, I kind of think midway through the next year you might start seeing those seasons coming out. But TV has been, and this was a thing I saw that was a praise of the Pitt, which I'm going to round us back around to the Pitt because it really is the thing. The Pitt is the thing taking up all of our mind space right now.
Yes.
They filmed that like a TV show. A lot of
like a traditional TV show.
A lot of the series we've been seeing lately, they're being filmed like movies that are just longer. And while the quality on those things can be great and they can be really impactful, I think there's a room for both, and I would like to see more shows getting back to filming styles more like the Pitt. One that I think would be at the top of my list would be a Star Trek. I think all our Star Trek series could do with a more like a 15 episode season rather than the 10 that we've been getting. You always have to come back
to Star Trek.
And I think could you name some shows that you feel like would be better off with more episodes and quote unquote filler episodes, even though that's never a good filler episode is never a filler episode because it's usually character development.
Typically, unless you're the OC where they're in the Christmas coma, they tend to have like depth, and you tend to learn more about your characters. I love a good filler episode.
It doesn't always have to be about the plot, and I think that's the thing I like about the Pitt the most is that it's not about the plot. It's about their characters and how they're dealing with this incredible, insane scenario that they're in.
There's the one character from the Pitt that we didn't mention earlier, one of the night shift doctors, not Dr. Abbott, but the other one. He always has
Duncan.
Duncan's iced coffee in his hand. I'm a Starbucks girly, but I'm like, to reach that level of unbothered with chaos around me where he's just sipping on his iced coffee is a calm that I would aspire to someday reach in my lifetime.
All right, everybody. Well, I think that about wraps it up for us this week. We appreciate everybody for tuning in. If we did not mention a show that you are excited for 2026 and you want to get a shout out on a next episode sometime in the future, just hit us up on socials. Everybody tends to communicate with Hope, but I am actually a person who is capable of communicating, so you can reach out to me or Hope or the Instagram account or any of the other places that you find us. I think you can even submit comments on Spotify and Apple Podcasts these days.
Hey, lightning round of the shows we mentioned with dates. The ones with dates, so you can't say Strange New Worlds. What one are you most excited for?
I got to look back at the list. I completely forgot already. What am I most looking forward to of the ones that have actual dates? The Boys.
The Boys as well for me.
Yep. And Shrinking is a very close second. But Shrinking is like, not...
Bridgerton is a very close second.
Shrinking is not wrapping up like a 5-season arc like The Boys is. So I'm very excited to see how they...
And I'm sure we'll get more. We'll do another back half of 2026.
Yeah,
I bet we'll get only murders in 2026 as well.
Oh, of course, yeah. They've got to come up with some way to make some money.